Everybody, thank you for joining us for our movement class this morning. We'll continue to work on balance as we did last week. So find a standing posture. We will start off by a little bit of movement, get ourselves warmed up. Let's start off with some spinal cord breathing. There might be some new people to the class this morning, so if you're new, thanks for joining. These classes are about movement with intention, so it's not just exercise for the sake of exercising, and it's also about not pushing or forcing. So if we're going into a stretch, I'm not really stretching and forcing, it's just easing into a movement. And this is a lovely way to start to warm yourself up, is you just bend your knees a little bit. If we start with the pelvis first, so just pop your hand on your hips, and we just get some isolation in the pelvis. So you are just tilting the pelvis so that if you had, say if the pelvis was a bowl of water, you would be spilling water out of the front there. And then if you tuck the tailbone under, you'd be spilling the water out of the back. So we're just getting some movement in the lower back, in the upper back a little bit. Just get that pelvis tilting underneath, tucking underneath, and then spilling out the front. So just get that movement in the hips and the pelvis. And then we combine that movement with opening up the chest. Now, a really nice visualization for opening up the chest is thinking of lifting your heart, which is about here, up towards the sky and looking up towards the sky. So it's really nice opening up of the chest. And then we just curl ourselves into a little ball as we tuck the pelvis underneath. So lifting your heart up towards the sky, looking up. It's lovely if you're doing this outside because you can then really look up and see what the weather's like. Is it raining? Is it blue sky? Is it cloudy? If there's trees around, it's nice doing it in sort of like a tree in a forest. And now just really work into the flow of the movement. So it's smooth movement, easy movement, not forcing anything. If you watch an animal when it's having a little stretch, it doesn't start pulling itself and really trying to stretch muscles too far. It actually moves. It's called pandiculation. So we're pandiculating rather than stretching. And once you've got into that nice, easy flow of movement, let's bring the breath with it. So see if we can just easily breathe in as we open up the chest, and then out as we curl up. So let's let the breath into the body there, let the breath out. The breath is quiet, so notice that I'm not drawing breath in or trying to breathe in a particular way. I'm just allowing the breath in. Just let that breath just flow in. Feel that slightly cooler air coming in through the nose. And then just squeeze the breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And you go at your own comfortable pace with this as well. So with the breath, we don't want to be struggling with the breath or out of breath or chaotic breath. So you just let that breath be nice and smooth as with the movement. Let's do 2 more after this one. So breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. And then just come up to standing. Stand with your feet about hip width apart. Just have a little move around, a little shake if you need a bit of a shake. And just balance. So we have obviously the ground. Our feet are in contact with the ground. Gravity is pulling us down. So just bring awareness to your feet in contact with the ground. So you're just rooted, stable on the ground, balanced on the ground. You'll feel a little bit more weight through the heels. So maybe just rock forwards and backwards a little bit. So you find that sweet spot where you are not having to hold, so you're not gripping. If I'm too far forwards, then I start gripping with my toes. If I'm too far backwards, then I feel as if I'm going to fall backwards. Just find that sweet spot where you can feel strong through the legs, but you don't have to hold any tightness or tension. So I don't have to squeeze my bum, I don't have to squeeze my muscles in my legs. The legs are there just supporting the body. And just bring your left hand, or your right hand if I mirror you, just bring your right hand down. So just imagine that you're resting and grounding yourself through that right palm into the ground. So a little bit of bend in the elbows. And then bring your left hand and point that palm of your hand towards the sky there. So we're just really connecting down to the ground, and then also having an awareness of lifting up and being connected upwards towards the sky. And then just rest the arms down by the side. So remembering to be grounded and stable and strong through the lower body, and at the same time lifted, lightness and lengthen through the upper body. So relaxing the shoulders. So you find that really nice balance point, sweet spot where you're balanced. Step out. This position is about shoulder width apart with the feet, little bit of bend in the knees. And the reason why we go into this position is just so that you've got a really good base of support, so you feel really grounded. If we're here, which we use for some balance exercises, there's less stability because you've got a smaller base of support. So the reason why we're going slightly wider is so you get a nice strong base of support to work from. And focus on the feet in contact with the ground and that strength coming up to the hips. Pop your hands on your hips again and just start to move, rotate side to side with the hips. And notice what goes on down the leg, and also notice what comes up the leg. So just moving the hips side to side. And although we're driving, if you like, with the hips, the movement has to come from the foot as well. So we almost like get that spiral through the foot, through the knee, into the hips. The reason why we have our little bit of bend in the knees is so that we're not locking the knees, because if we do that, and then you get too much twist in the knee. So that little bit of softness and bend in the knee allows you to feel that spiral. And then just take a rest there. Focus on a point which is underneath the ball of the big toe there. So you see the foot, ball of the foot. So if you just get your fingers in that point there, under the ball of the foot, that point in Qigong is called the bubbling well or the bubbling spring. And just bring an awareness now in that stance where you're standing shoulder width apart, a little bit of softness in the knees. Just bring an awareness to your connection of that point to the ground. That doesn't mean to say that all of the weight is on that point, so I'm not shifting the weight onto that point. So the little bit of weight is a little bit more towards the heels, but you still got a connection of your bubbling spring to the ground. The toes can be relaxed, so you should be able to wiggle your toes a little bit there. And visualization is great. Visualization is used a lot in Qigong because it gives you an intention to the movement. Rather than thinking of all of the mechanical or the biomechanical ways of moving, the visualization can really help with how you move efficiently. So if you visualize, you're almost like got blotting paper under that point, and that blotting paper is soaking up the energy into that point. Now, energy can all sound a little bit woo-woo. Earth's energy, what is Earth's energy? Gravity. So there is energy coming from the Earth. You use the gravity to help us move forwards. So absorb, connect to the Earth's energy or to the ground from that point. And now with that in mind, just do that same movement with the hips. And just feel the really subtle connections, or the subtle difference in the pressure of the connection in your bubbling spring. So just really bringing attention to that connection into the ground. This will all make sense when we come up to the balancing exercises. So we're really just going into the nuances now of this balance, of this movement. And then just slow it down. And just stand tall for a moment. Comfortable standing position, about hip width apart. Again, just check in with the ground, lift and lengthen, and check in with that lightness and lifted feeling in the upper body. Now step out back to our grounding stance here, connecting that bubbling spring, or being awareness to that bubbling spring. We're going to knocking on the door of life. So knocking on the door of life, we start with a movement from the hips, and then we bring in the upper body. So we just let that upper body be nice and light and lifted. Lifting now from the crown of the head, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the lower back, relaxing the mid-back. And you're just looking in the direction, no particular focus, but just looking in the direction that you are rotating. From a physical point of view, we're getting some nice spine rotation here. So we're getting the vertebra moving, rotating around each other. Often where we get tight in the upper back and the lower back, this is just really nice to lengthen up the spine, create space. As you're doing this now, bring your awareness back to that bubbling spring. Just notice that connection to the ground. And then if it feels good for you, you can just bring the opposite heel off the ground. And notice that connecting point to the bubbling spring on the heel that lifts off the ground. one side feel different to the other side? Does one side flow easier through the hip and the knee and the ankle? And then slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Just gradually slow it down, unwind. We'll give ourselves a good shake out now, so shaking the hands, tapping the heels into the ground if that feels good. The idea of the shaking is to get some vibration through the body. So feel that vibration in the bones, through the legs, into the shoulders, let the shoulders go. So you're not actually physically moving the shoulders, but just let the shoulders go, let the shoulders relax. Let's nick one of Andrew's words and take in a satisfying breath through the nose. And sigh out. So again, it's a lovely day, getting ready for the day. Breathe in. This feels really good, really energizing. I'm really getting myself prepared. Gonna have a really good day. Lots of nice things going on. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then slow it down. Slow it down. Slowly, gradually bring your feet together. Balance. Feel what's going on in the body. Feel the tingling sensations maybe now through the arms, through the hands, through the legs, through the spine. Soften the belly, just soften the belly, let the breath be nice and light, slow and deep. And then come back out. Stay a little bit narrower than shoulder width. And we're going to some of our balance practice. First one is flying. So let's let the arm movement work first. So arms just flow up, elbows soft, shoulders relaxed. Lifting. And the point about movement with intention and visualization is if I say to you, lift your arms up, lower your arms down, lift your arms up, lower your arms down, do that 10 times. It becomes a very mechanical process with no connection. Why am I doing this exercise? An exercise, it's a movement. If you think of flying, straight away you get this really nice visualization of I'm just light and I'm lifted and I'm tall, and just imagine like you're a drone just flying around, looking below, looking at the scenery, whatever works for you. And again, it sounds very woo-woo, but if you have that mind-body connection, it just makes the movement so much more purposeful. So you're light and you're lifted, and you're energized. 2 more. And now on the next one, as you lift, just shift the weight to your right side of the body and just come up onto the bobbling spring on that left side. So you're just balancing, you're just dipping your toe. And then swap sides. So now shift the weight to the left side, I'm mirroring you. And then just balance, just tip the toe with that right side. Swap sides, balance. So you've got about 80–90% weight on one side of the body, and then you transfer it to the other side. And then if that feels good, if that feels comfortable, we just bend the knee, just lift the knee. Knee doesn't have to lift too high. And then soft foot down, lift the opposite knee. Focus on that strong, stable leg to balance on, and then lightness through the spine, lightness as you lift the opposite side. Balance, soft landing, slow movement, balance. Breath is easy, breath is soft. Balance. Soft landing. Looking good there on Zoom. Sure everybody's looking good on Facebook and YouTube. Balance. One more. And then rest there. The idea again is to make the movement really slow. It's easy just to go, oh, I'm going to lift my leg and step down. And I'm going to lift my leg and step down. I'm going to lift my leg and step down. Or lift and come down really quickly. But that slowness as you come down, step, slow, 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 slow. Next one, holding, balancing on your two tiger heads each side of you. So have that connection to the ground. And same thing, I'll mirror you, so you balance on your right leg. Just lift the left knee up and then step back down. Balance on your left, stabilize, lift the right. Keep tall through the spine. Balance on your right, stabilize, lift. Balance on your left, stabilize, lift. Just take a moment's rest there. One thing to watch out on this, which I've noticed a few times, is that when you lift, watch that you're not tucking and coming underneath. I'm exaggerating a little bit, that you're tucking the pelvis. So when you lift that opposite knee, you keep that neutral spine, you keep tall and lifted through the spine. If we end up doing this, we end up falling backwards. So we're not changing the position of the pelvis, nor have we got our bum sticking out like that and lifting like that. So you want almost to imagine you've got a little bit of a weight on your tailbone, but it's not tucking under, it's just keeping your spine nice and lifted and lengthened. So let's go through that again a couple of times. So balance on your right. Stabilize, just lift the knee to comfortable. Balance on your left, stabilize, lift. Balance on your right, stabilize, lift. Now let's have a little go with that with your eyes closed. So balance on your left, close your eyes. Now you might just want to touch the bubbling spring into the ground to start off with, and then step down. Balance on your right. Be strong and stable, get stable first. Bubbling spring, lift. Balance on your left, keep the shoulders relaxed, keep breathing easy. If you're feeling confident, lift the knee a little bit, slowly down if you can. Balance on your right, lift. Oh, that's not going well. Balance, step down. Balance on your left, step down. Let's do one more each side. Balance on the right, down, balance on the left, step down, and then take a rest there. Open your eyes when you're ready. So the idea is, if you were at the classes the past couple of weeks, and I shared that podcast, Andrew Huberman podcast, the idea is that when you are making these errors, this is when you are learning. This is when your brain is flooding your body with chemicals and learning. So it's great if you can balance and stabilize. We've learned that and continue to learn that. That's a really good practice, that you learn that you can balance better. But the errors are the bits that you want to be making to help you improve not just your motor patterns, so not just the balance exercise, but also improve your learning ability. And that's the fascinating thing about this simple practice. And it's also good to make sure that you do learn to balance a little bit better. The amount, been teaching running for over 10 years, and the amount of people when I've come to a workshop and I've said to them, all right, balance on one, oh, I can't balance on one leg. It's like, you're running, what are you doing when you are running? You're never on two legs. You are landing and balancing on one leg. It's about 180 times every minute. So you want to learn to be able to be balanced and stable and strong, even if it's just for, obviously when it's just for a split second. So continue to practice that balance. Now we'll finish off just with our fun balance practice. If I can remember how to do this one, I can always get it the right way around. So let's stabilize on our right side. We'll keep our eyes open for this one. As you lift the left knee, left hand with palm up comes forwards, and your right hand with palm up goes backwards. So if I show you from the side, balanced on one side, lifting like that. And then you dip your toe in the water. As you dip your toe in the water, opposite hand comes up, so you're going palm down, toe down, dipping your bubbling spring. A little bit of bend in that back knee. And then you reverse that action, so you come back up to lift, step down, holding a ball in front of you, small ball in front of you there. And then you do opposite side, so palm up, knee up, got some wall behind me, arm behind you, and then dip your toe, palms down, a little bit of bend in that back knee, reverse the movement, step down, holding your ball, go again, so opposite side. Which side have I just done? I've just done that side. Palm up. This is really difficult. Opposite sides, other way around. Dipping your toe. Reverse the movement. Hold the ball. Balance. Palm up. Dipping your toe. Reverse the movement. Hold the ball. Let's do pulling down the heavens. That's a really quick half an hour. Talked a lot in this one. 1. Open up the chest, lift your heart to sky. Palms together. Resting on the lower abdomen. Bringing your feet together. Just closing your eyes just for a few moments. Allowing the body to balance itself. Not doing anything in particular. Allowing the breath to settle. Taking a breath in and opening your eyes, stepping out. So just giving yourself a little brush down, having a little stretch if you feel you need a stretch. And we will finish there. Thank you for joining in. Thanks for coming along. If anybody's around at 1 o'clock lunchtime today, I'm doing a podcast or a chat with Patrick McEwen on Instagram Live. So look for the Oxygen Advantage Instagram account, and Patrick and I will be chatting live on there at 1 o'clock this afternoon. If you can't make that, I will hopefully see you next Tuesday for the breathwork. And I'll see some of you on Saturday as well for the upper body workshop. So lots going on, lots to do, lots to think about. Have a great day and have a good time. Thank you. Bye.